My name is Elizabeth May. I'm the Member of Parliament for Saanich Gulf Islands, acknowledging on the traditional territory of the Saanich people, Haishka Sim, and I'm the leader of the Green Party of Canada. I ran for political office because I was already leader of the Green Party and it was expected. I was leader of the Green Party because I felt that facing the Harper years, the work I was doing from Sierra Club of Canada wouldn't have a chance. I was right. I had to go into the political arena. It's hard to pick one thing as my proudest accomplishment as a member of Parliament. The things that have been most satisfying have been individual cases saving people's lives. What motivates me to do anything every day, and what motivates me to do the work I do, is that the planet's on fire, and I have grandchildren, and I'm not prepared to say we have no chance. As someone who'd been working in the environmental movement for decades, I knew a great deal about politics before becoming an MP. I'd also worked in the 1980s in the Office of the Minister of Environment. So I was far better prepared to hit the ground running as an MP than many of my colleagues. I would say the one thing I've really learned since becoming an MP is that our voting system creates a toxic culture that makes good people do dreadful things. I work across party lines virtually every day. One example where we achieved an important goal was the first piece of Green Party legislation ever passed. Now that was a bill to deal with Lyme disease and to create a national strategy. At the time, I was the only Green MP and the government had a Conservative majority. And the one MP who made all the difference was the Minister of Health, Rona Ambrose, who decided my bill was a good bill and she was going to support it. The biggest challenge to democracy today is people who hold power believing they're powerless. The people who have power are the voters. And when they stay away from the polls because they think the system is rigged or it doesn't affect them personally, they turn power over to transnational corporations and lobbyists. And really, the biggest threat to democracy is citizens giving up on the idea that democracy works. The only hope for the next generation is that my generation, which is about to kick the bucket, let's be clear, actually does what we need to do so the next generation doesn't have to face a climate emergency. If I was sharing advice with my 16-year-old self, I first have to explain that my 16-year-old self is pretty much like my 68-year-old self. I was already an activist. I was already doing campaigns against pesticides and against phosphates in detergents. I was already doing TV interviews when I was 16. So not your normal 16-year-old self. I just have to say that my only advice would be, never give up.